It is 6 p.m. I will call the City of Allegan City Council meeting to order for Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Can I please have roll call?
Councilmember Zeter. Councilmember Westover.
Present.
Councilmember Walker.
Here.
Councilmember Canales.
Here.
Councilmember Hooker.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Hands.
Present.
Mayor Perrigo.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right. Has staff received any correspondence from Councilperson Zeter?
We have not.
All right, thank you. All right, can I please have those who are able to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, I'm going to move down to agenda item 4A, which is approval of regular council meeting agenda for September 22nd, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 5A is approval of the regular council meeting minutes from August 25th, 2025. Are there any corrections, changes? Otherwise, I will ask for a motion to approve as submitted.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to agenda item 6A is Day of Recovery Proclamation by Mayor Perrigo, which is myself, but we have some representatives from On Point here, and if they would want to approach the podium and speak about your upcoming events that you have.
Thank you very much. I just want to say, in starting, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, but also for the consideration of the resolution before you for the second year in a row, and we're just really excited about that. I want to introduce some of our staff who will speak to the proposal, and my left here is Lauren Todaro, manager of our substance use programs, Eric Hoffman, one of our recovery coaches, and Gina Kerber, Dr. Gina Kerber, our Chief Operating Officer. So with that, I'll just turn it over to Lauren.
Thank you so much, everyone, for taking our Day of Recovery proclamation for the second year. We are so excited to be here and to recognize individuals who have entered mental health and substance use recovery in our county of Allegan and surrounding counties, and also to recognize those who we have lost due to overdose as well as challenges with mental health. This event will be held on the riverfront from 11 to 4 p.m. on Saturday, September 26th. We invite all of you to join us. It's going to be a very fun, family-oriented event. A lot of our On Point staff will be there as well that you can meet and talk to in person. We will also have many members of our community who are in recovery speaking, as well as being a part of the celebrations, as well as many community resources. We also have free tacos sponsored by Sober Eats, a food truck that has their leader Kevin in substance use recovery. So I would love to pass the mic to our peer recovery coach, Eric, to talk a little bit about what this means for him and our peer staff.
Good evening. Thank you, everybody, for allowing us to be here. It truly is an honor to be able to stand up here and talk to you guys in regards to recovery in our community. This event, it holds a very special place, I think, for a lot of us. Even if you're not actively in some type of recovery, I'm pretty sure that everybody knows somebody that has been involved in some type of mental health or substance abuse recovery. So to be able to bring this to the community and open things up in terms of a community-friendly related event is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. We're doing everything that we can to incorporate everybody. We've had amazing support from the community, the fire department, the police department, ambulances. Everybody's excited to come down and set up and be a part of this event. We're trying to keep everything so there's a little bit of something for everybody. When we say all ages, we want everybody to be able to come there and have a good time, enjoy themselves. And, you know, at the same time, be able to interact with other members of the community, share a common goal, and then also to have some of our community leaders be there and be able to show their support as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I would like to recognize our peer staff to include Eric, which is Kara Trainer, Nicole Aldridge, Angie Messinger, and Alicia Ash, who have all put this on. So I just want to recognize them and Kara for writing our proclamation. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you. And I will go ahead and, if you want to sit down, or you can stand, but I'll go ahead and read the proclamation. All right, proclamation for the Day of Recovery by the City of Allegan. Whereas in 2024, wait a minute, is this correct? I just want to make sure this is what is correct. All right,
That's what was
whereas,
submitted.
all right, whereas in 2024, the United States is experiencing a mental health and substance use disorder crisis of epic proportions, with 19% of U.S. adults identifying with a mental health disorder, and drug overdose deaths are almost hitting 1 million since 2000. Whereas recovery from mental health and/or substance use disorder is attainable and can be strengthened by connection to one's community and applicable appropriate resources. Whereas every September, there is a national observation called Recovery Month that honors those who walk the journey to recovery from substance use disorder and/or mental health conditions. Recovery Month is celebrated to promote and support new evidence-based treatment and recovery practices, support the emergence of a strong and proud recovery community, and embrace the service providers and community members across the nation who make recovery in all its forms possible. Whereas On Point, the community mental health entity that provides services for those struggling with substance use disorder and mental health in Allegan County, is participating in Recovery Month by having a Day of Recovery on September 27th and will hold a free community event, Art of Recovery, at Allegan Riverfront Park, 11 to 4 p.m. Whereas the City of Allegan stands in solidarity with On Point in their efforts to highlight those whose lives have been impacted by mental health issues and substance use disorder. By celebrating the individuals that have found recovery, acknowledging those who work tirelessly on the front line of the mental health and substance use disorder crisis, and putting our collective community embrace around families and loved ones that walk the journey amongst those that suffer. We hope to lessen the stigma surrounding mental health and substance use disorder, empower those who have found a recovery pathway, and spread the message that wellness and recovery can be achieved for everyone. Whereas the City of Allegan proclaims September 27th as a Day of Recovery. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move down to 7A. Is the first reading of Ordinance 531 to amend the City Zoning Ordinance regarding fences and schedule a second reading and public hearing for October 13th, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor. This past year, the City Planning Commission spent or finalized the update to our zoning ordinance. This was a complete overhaul and rewrite. They spent the past 2 years working on this project. Shortly after the Planning Commission held a public hearing and approved it and sent it to Senate, and they sent it to City Council for your review, public hearings, and approval, which you did. I went through it and realized that we left out the section that dealt with fences. So we have to add fences back into our zoning ordinance, and that's what Ordinance 531 does. It regulates the placement, composition, and height of fences in the City of Allegan. The language that's in the packet, that's in Ordinance 531, is the exact same language that was in the previous ordinance. This is the first reading, just a reminder for council. All ordinances are a two-step process at City Council. You have a first reading this evening, and then you will be adopting it after your public hearing on October 13th, 2025. Any questions for staff? We will need a motion to accept the first reading and schedule the public hearing.
I do have a question. Joel, I had asked, and maybe this isn't something that other municipalities or PCI is aware of. Is there any sort of wording around temporary permanent fencing that that should be added, or is that just not a thing?
Yeah,
Not necessary?
so I would offer that section I, all fences must be properly maintained. All fences must be constructed of brick, snow, vinyl, wood, metal, or wire, so we won't get into like, plastic snow fences or something like that happening. I can talk to Lori between now and October 13th and see if we need more language. She was on vacation last week, that's why she wasn't at the planning commission when planning commission reviewed this. Because I believe the concern is the construction style fences that people put up that are not inserted into the ground, but have a square base at the bottom, which we've had a commercial property owner put that up in years past, and that is a concern of some of the residents of this community.
Okay, that was my only question.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a thing, I don't know.
We,
All right,
we can look into that.
okay, all right. And nobody else had any questions?
I had one. I think we just have to check under our construction ordinances to see if it's allowed to have fencing. I believe it is, just so that that's how you'd be able to do that for a construction project, to put up fencing and still be in compliance with this. And then subsection D there, why did we bring up retaining wall? That's the only place in this whole thing that talks about a retaining wall, and it seemed out of place.
So we can look into that before October 13th. As I mentioned earlier, this was just a cut and paste of what was in the existing one. But I would make a note of that too, to also have them look into the retaining wall question.
Because it seems like a retaining wall isn't really a fence, it's more of something to retain back the earth. So that's why I'm going, there may be a
Yeah.
property, especially in this hilly community, that needs a retaining wall bigger than 6 feet.
I know in my previous role, in the previous town I served, we did have issues where a homeowner who wanted a fence taller than 6 feet would bring in dirt to elevate their yard next to their neighbor's yard, and essentially install a retaining wall, and then would build a fence on top of said retaining wall. And so you ended up with this like big slope, within like 3 feet up to the wall, and it became a little bit of an issue in my previous town I served. Have not experienced that here, but that could be why that language is in there. Maybe it was an issue that was just common back in the day.
I just want to make sure we don't limit down somebody's ability to actually install a retaining wall higher than 6 feet, and then technically they would be in a violation
Yeah.
of this.
Especially if the retaining wall is going to protect their yard and so forth.
Yeah.
All right, seeing no other questions of staff, do we need to do any motion? No. Motion for a second hearing?
I'll make a motion that we schedule a second reading and public hearing for October 13th, 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to the next order of business is under number 9, which is public comment. If you have public comment, please approach this podium and state your name and address, and we do limit it to 3 minutes. All right. And I will take any public comment at this time. I am seeing no public comment, so I will move down to the next order of business is 11A1, which is review of the September 2025 Downtown Development Authority minutes, and Assistant Parker Johnson.
Yes, at our last DDA meeting, we continued review of our updated master plan for 2025 through 2030. This particular session, we were kind of discussing key properties and updating what key properties within the DDA boundaries our master plan will focus on over the next 5 years. We also updated the DDA Commission on the process of updating our retail market analysis that was last done with Gibbs Planning Group in 2019. We've started conversations with the state, the MEDC specifically, through which we have some technical assistance funding in that pool to help pay for an updated plan from Gibbs Planning Group. And then lastly, a subcommittee was formed of the DDA to start a Downtown Allegan business resource team made up of 4 DDA members who will kind of just be a sounding board for folks who are opening a business in the DDA or are considering opening a business in the DDA. And those folks will just have some good insight and information that they will be armed with to best support those people who might be interested in such a thing. So that is all.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Parker? No? Our 11A2 is review of the September 2025 Public Space Commission meeting minutes, and it looks like Councilperson Canales.
Yeah, so we did our annual tour of all the wonderful parks in Allegan. We're privileged to have such great parks. We visited all 8 and the cemetery. Everything looked good and well-maintained.
Great. Any questions? No? All right. 11A3 is review of the September 2025 Planning Commission minutes, and Councilperson Westover.
Thank you, Mayor. Planning Commission meeting, we discussed, we had a public hearing and review of the ordinance for the fences, which we also discussed here tonight. We also discussed two development applications coming up. One was the rezoning and special use permit to expand an automobile service station in downtown Allegan. And then the other was the residential development at the former Girl Scout property. So we should expect to see some information on those for our next meeting.
All right, thank you. Any questions? No. 11A4 is review of the August 2025 Fire District Board minutes, and that is Councilperson Walker.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. In August, we got the July numbers. We'll have the August numbers this coming week, this Wednesday. But in July, we had 49 incidents in Allegan compared to 64 for last year for the same time period. Allegan City amounted to 91 man-hours, and Allegan Township amounted to 208 man-hours. So they beat us pretty handily. Okay. The fire district members trained for 81 hours in water rescue, boat ops, and some other miscellaneous instruction. And they also volunteered for 43 hours filling pools, sidewalk sale, tee it up for the troops, and the Touch a Truck event. And they still do not, they're having a hard time finding a contractor for the brickwork, for the damage that was done on that corner. As of the last meeting a month ago, so
All right.
that's all.
All right, thank you. Any questions from council? All right, seeing none, the next order of business is 11D1, which is a request to approve PO 26-0834 to Wightman Engineering in the amount of $14,250 for surveying Plot E and a new green burial section in Oakwood Cemetery.
Thank you, Mayor. Earlier this year, the Public Spaces Commission, at the request of a handful of city council members, put together a policy, and city council then subsequently adopted rules to cord off a section of Oakwood Cemetery for green burials. These are burials that are not done in the traditional way with headstones or vaults. They're all natural. As part of that approval, the city had to go in then and survey out the lots, so we know exactly where people can be buried for this. As part of that discussion, I went ahead and we budgeted $15,000 in the current fiscal year 26 budget, so we could also survey the majority of the remainder part of the city-owned cemetery. So what you have is a proposal from Wightman to survey both the green burial that's highlighted in green on the maps, as well as the traditional burial and what's known as Plot E, which highlighted in blue on the screens behind you and in front of you. We did receive 2 bids. One was from Wightman, one was from Prine and Newhoff, and Wightman was the low bid. Any questions for staff?
I don't see any. Can I get a motion to approve PO 26-0834?
I make a motion to approve this PO to Wightman Engineering.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion or questions amongst council?
I have a question relating, I think I missed it in your report, Carl, speaking of the cemeteries. Of the magnetic, what are those magnetic markers? It was in, I don't know if it was in this Wightman Engineering section or the public spaces. Okay, all right. I didn't know what the magnetic, permanent magnetic monuments, I guess that's what it is. Permanent magnetic monument. I don't know what that is.
Okay, so permanent magnetic monuments, monumentation is a surveying term to identify corners of properties, like rods in the ground is another more common way of saying those. I am gonna assume that's what you're referencing, but I don't see those words anywhere in anything I'm looking at real quick, so I don't take my word for that, Councilmember Walker.
Page 25. It's from Wightman, so it probably is. It's part of their proposal scopes of services.
Yep, correct. No. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Hands. Yeah, so that's part of the surveying is laying those all out so we know where they are. The one reason we have to do the blue area, since we're going to talk about this for a little bit, and we're in no rush to get done tonight. The traditional burial area next to the green area, we do have some, lack of a better word, so I apologize, some bodies buried in that area that's not surveyed. So part of this is surveying, places that are already lots, and so we're trying to correct some of the, lack of a better word, the mistake that was made in the past.
We do know who these people are that are buried there.
Yes.
All right.
We have records of that in our file system. It's just they've never been properly surveyed. And a city staff member who is watching at home is letting us know they are called iron markers, property corners.
Okay.
So this is why we live stream, so staff can watch at home and text Parker in the middle of a meeting and correct what we're saying.
All right. Any other discussion? Okay. All right, well, so we have a motion on the table. All those in favor of approving PO 26-0834, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11D2 is a request to approve PO 26-0836 to J Ranck Electric in the amount of $11,375 for the installation of PAPI light baffles at the airport.
Thank you, Mayor. So at the airport, which is a city-owned airport, we have Precision Approach Path Indicator Lights. That's what PAPI stands for. We have some obstructions. Those are trees. That makes it difficult for pilots as they approach the runways to see them. So we're going to replace the lights because we thought the lights were too old to be retrofitted with what's called baffles. However, our engineer of record for the airport that we utilize, Prine Newhoff, they have determined that we can put baffles on these lights to make them work. We are going to go ahead, we went out for bid. We've had 2 bids come in. J Ranck was the low bid on this project in the amount of $11,375. We had budgeted $40,000 in the budget to pull this off, so that's quite a savings for us. Any questions on this project?
All right, seeing no questions, can I get a motion to approve PO 26-0836?
I make a motion to approve the PO to J Ranck Electric.
Second.
All right, so moved and supported. Any other discussion? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next order of business is 11E1, which is request to approve accounts payable and payroll.
It is requested that the city council approve accounts payable in the amount of $3,145,608.73 and payroll in the amount of $276,492.73. $40.18 for a total disbursement of $3,421,648.91. Motion to approve.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Is there any questions that council has?
I do, just one, I'm sorry, just one question. Oh, I thought, yeah, oh, okay. I'm sorry, the waste recovery systems, for the CCTV, closed caption TV. Is waste recovery, is that a contractor of ours?
Yes.
Okay.
What page are you on for that, if you don't mind me
That
asking?
is page 50, right in the middle. Just curious what that is.
Yeah, so waste recovery systems, phase one of CCTV. We'll get an answer to you after I reach out to the director of that department. That would be with our Water Resource Recovery Center.
Sounds good.
Any other questions from council discussion? No? All right.
So if I'm not mistaken, real quick, I'm pretty sure that was part of the sewer televising that council approved. When we started the televising, they were the low bid on that project. And so when I say water resource recovery, it's because all the sewer lining going that way, we're televising the sewer lines to know which ones need to be replaced and which ones can be lined.
Oh, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, you guys approved that, I believe, in July or September or August. Sorry for cutting you off, Mayor.
That's okay. No, if you can answer Will's question before we vote, that's great. All right, and there's a motion on the table. All those in favor of approving accounts payable and payroll, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E2 is a request to increase the size of the Downtown Allegan Social District.
Yeah, this is brief. We talked about it at our last meeting, which was about a month ago. So just as a refresher, you have before you a proposed expansion of the social district. You can see the boundary on the screen in white is the current boundary of the Downtown Allegan Social District, and then that red section is the proposed expansion. Doing this on the far left-hand corner of that map is the Griswold Auditorium. And this just gives a better connection to that venue as we continue to increase programming at the Griswold and make it an attractive attraction in the downtown. We want it to be usable within the downtown social district, and by expanding this, we do just that. And then the upcoming improvement project to the downtown will include Chestnut Street, which is already within this social district, but then also that section of Trowbridge and Walnut that you see highlighted in red. So just as we continue to make those streets feel more cohesive with the rest of the downtown, we feel that expanding the social district to include that also does just that.
Parker, it is just the sidewalks, though. The sidewalks and the road.
That's
I mean,
correct.
really, you can't walk down the middle of the road, so it's just the sidewalks.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And how would that be marked then? So people know not to cut across the county parking lot?
Yep. So in the same way that you can look at the Water Street Boardwalk is a good example. The city has an easement over those properties. Each property owner on Water Street owns back to the river. And so we have those social district stickers that are marking the edges of each boundary. We'll have those placed along this new route as well, just as we do at the boardwalk. You can take a social district drink onto the boardwalk that abuts the city-owned parking lot between Myers Auto Value and the Perrigo Outlet Store, but you can't take it any further than those two businesses, and we've got stickers placed at each of those endpoints.
Okay. Well, sorry, you had something?
No, quite, yeah. Currently, with the district we have, is someone able to, well, how do the rules with Griswold affect if someone purchases a drink downtown, walks down to the Griswold, can they walk in with that drink?
They may, so long as there is not a special license pulled at the Griswold. So for example, this coming weekend, the Allegan Community Players are having their performance of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and they will have their own special license there. So Parker can't purchase a beverage downtown and walk into the Griswold with it. I would have to dump it out or finish it before I enter the premise. And then only drinks being served under that license can be consumed inside of the Griswold. So, but the opposite example of that, for the Hoot and Howl event on Friday, it'll culminate at the Griswold, and there will not be a special license pulled, and so folks may bring a beverage that they purchased downtown inside of the building.
Okay, so knowing that the residents around that sidewalk area, being the nature they are, churches, a lot, they, so it's really just an alternative route to get to the Griswold.
Yep.
And, okay,
Truly.
all right.
So, and we had a little, some discussion last time about a trash can or two. Is that part of the plan then also?
Most definitely.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up again.
Any other comments from council? All right. Seeing none, can I get a motion to increase the size of the Downtown Allegan Social District?
I'll make a motion to increase the size of the Downtown Allegan Social District.
I will support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E3 is a request to approve a contract with MDOT to permit the city to plant street trees in the M89 right-of-way near Rossman Park.
I'll go ahead and talk about this one as well. So the city received a request from some homeowners that live just along this corridor here. Their request was presented to the Public Spaces Commission earlier this summer. And in talking with MDOT, since this is an MDOT trunk line that runs through the city, we have before you tonight a resolution that has to be submitted to MDOT that basically says the city is willing to move ahead with this plan. There are still parts and pieces of it that need to be discussed and ironed out, but this is just the first step that we need to take with the Michigan Department of Transportation to achieve this plan. So what you see there with the dots on the screen are just proposed placement of serviceberry trees, which is the species that is pictured there. We've already had some response from the landscape engineers at MDOT that have suggested just a differentiation of species. So that way, if there is some disease that comes through, they're not all wiped out at once. We have to talk about sight lines, pulling out of Fifth Street there and driveways and such. So again, everything is still proposed, but this is just the first step that we need to take if this is something that we want to do. The proposal from the homeowners, they're accurate in saying that, the planting of these trees is a traffic calmer. It kind of slows people down when you've got more things lining the street. It also is a kind of protective barrier to the four-quadrant Rossman Esplanade that's pictured there on the screen as well. And then just beautifies our gateway into the city along Marshall Street, M89.
All right. Any questions, comments from council? No? And are we not putting like 3 trees on the other side of the street there because there's already plantings there?
Yes, it does look lopsided, but that's exactly right. There are already trees placed there. This aerial image is, obviously, the trees are bare.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay. Can I get a motion?
I will make a motion that we approve a contract with MDOT.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any other discussion amongst council before we vote? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
I'm sorry, Mayor.
Yeah, no.
I just remembered a comment as we were voting. Right now, I saw that Brandon Gum, and others may have offer their time to take care of that. But I don't think we should count on that. I think it is budget-wise. I think if they do great, it's wonderful, we'll come ahead, but I think it's smart for us to just, we should add that in. How does that work with our budget?
So as Parker mentioned, this is the first step. There are details that have to be ironed out. That's part of the details we have to iron out. But we just wanted to the first step is making sure that the MDOT will allow us to do this. And by us accepting the contract, just as we have the right to place them. And then we need to talk about the maintenance and so forth. We are a Tree City USA. For us to partake and continue that Tree City USA, we're 34?
40 years, I think.
40?
Coming up on.
Yeah, so for a long time, we've been a Tree City USA. So it's kind of like, we got to keep, the practice. Yeah, actions louder than words kind of a statement here. So those are things we're going to address. Another thing I'll highlight real quick, since we're going to talk about this project, even though the vote's already happened. We need to talk about how we're going to make crossing Marshall at Fifth safer. It is quick traffic. This past weekend, I experienced crossing that street a handful of times, and you have to pick up your feet and move. And so there's some thinking that has to happen in that general area.
All right. Anything else? No. Okay, 11E4 is a request of approval of a lot split for parcel 03-51-251-038-10.
Thank you, Mayor. So in the city of Allegan, anybody that wants to split a lot into additional lots, they need to receive approval from the city council. This is 147 Eastern Avenue. It is located on the west side of Eastern Avenue, north of M222, south of Low/Briggs. The parcel is a through lot, I'd call, from Eastern Avenue to Pleasant Street. Pleasant Street is a very long dirt driveway, is the way I would classify it, but it is a public road. So this is going to be split into a total of 3 parcels when it's all said and done. They're all conform with our zoning ordinance, which is part of the process. You have a report in your packet from Lori Costello, our city zoning administrator. We just need you to approve this.
Do you know if the intent is to build on these?
Yeah, the
Is
intent, when they first started the conversation with City Hall about 6 months ago, it was they wanted to build multiple houses.
Have they talked about what street they would come in off of?
Well, Eastern, 2 that front Eastern will come off Eastern, the other one would come off Pleasant.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter, I was just curious. All right. Any other questions of staff? No? All right, can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve the lot split of that parcel on Eastern.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E5 is a request for approval of lot split for parcel 03-51-250-006-10.
Thank you, Mayor. Same story as the previous agenda item. This is a lot split. Any lot splits in the city of Allegan must receive approval from city council. This is 633 Airway Drive, is located on the west side of Airway Drive, north of M222, across from the tech center, south of Ridge Court. There's a series of duplexes on the west side. This is the northernmost duplex, I believe, before you get to Ridge Court. They just want to split it off, and again, their plan is to build a house on this new lot.
Okay, can I get a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve the lot split at 633 Airway Drive.
Support?
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next order of business is agenda item 13, which is public comment. It's the second public comment of the night. If you have a public comment, please approach the podium, state your name and address. I am seeing no public comment, so I will move on to agenda item 14, which is communications from the city manager.
Very quickly, this past weekend, working with some residents on Marshall Avenue, specifically Brandon Gum and David Zulp. There was a block party / Rossman Park improvement work day that occurred. I'd like to say thank you to the council members that were able to make it out that evening and engage with the residents. Thank you to the staff, specifically Parker Johnson and Jeff Morey, who were able to get out there and work the full 4 hours. Thank you to police officers Josh Morgan and Chris Mead. They were out there engaging with the residents, even grabbed a rake or two and helped us with some work as well, so that was always fun. When I mentioned earlier about the intersection and traffic calming at crossing Marshall at 5th Street, we do have 2 yellow pedestrian signs, and by we, I mean MDOT has 2 yellow pedestrian crossing signs. I'm intrigued if we should have a conversation with them of putting up some solar-powered lighted ones that, flash so people know, hey, this is a pedestrian crossing. It is a wide road. I hate to think how hard it was to cross back when it was 4 lanes. We made it 3 lanes, I think in 2018, my second year here, we made it 3 lanes. But 4 lanes would have been even more fun. I was told this morning there was like Frogger from one of the department heads for people trying to cross it. So it was just something that I, got to experience firsthand this weekend, and I want us to take a step back and just look at that intersection, especially with us doing work in that neighborhood next year. Another thing for council, it has been a month since we have seen you in a meeting. I believe at the last meeting, we gave you an update on the financing plan for next year's capital improvement projects for Rossman Park. Please review that, because we don't meet again until October 13th, because September is a 5-Monday month set up for us. And at your October 13th meeting, we will be having you approve a notice of intent to go out for bonding. That does not lock us in to bonding. That is the notice of intent, which starts the ball rolling down the hill. And then there's like a 45-day referendum period, if you remember when we went over that schedule of stuff. I will be sending an email out to all of council, just reminding you of this whole process for us to go out for bonding. I encourage you, you come see me and Tracy if you have an inkling of a question in your head. I would not appreciate it if we wait till October 13th and you have all these questions. We want to be able to talk this stuff out. You can ask questions all you want October 13th as well. But, if you have some inklings of questions, we'll make ourselves available, morning, day, night, weekends, like I always say, before, during, and after work to answer any questions you have about that process. Most of you are extremely new to the bonding process. And we have to do the bonding process to pull off the Rossman Park and the downtown project for next year. With that, the grant for $2.5 million for Rossman Park, which is being used for the water utilities, we are making good progress on that grant. We are checking off the milestones that we have to check off. We received 2 estimates for our environmental review on Friday. That's going to go to the MEDC. It's 100% paid for by the MEDC. We just have to tell them which one we're going to work with. So we don't need to bring that to City Council for your approval, but they're going to start that right away. So we're making good headway on that project as well. Any questions for me about the bonding process and your approval process going forward? all the numbers still add up the way the numbers added up in the summer. And then at your last meeting, when we shared them with you, the water rate increases are the same. I am very thankful that our water rate increases are not what some of the suburbs around Grand Rapids are having to go through right now with the Wyoming expansion they're doing. So I'm not a big fan of increases because I live in the city and I have to pay those increases as well. But there are some other communities that are looking at 40 to 60% increases when we're talking, single-digit increases. So
I do have a question.
that's all I have, Mayor.
The last meeting, you had a helpful summary of all the capital improvement projects. Was that, I just thought of it, I didn't go back to my other packet. Is that in our prior packet? Or if not, could we get a copy of that?
So the projects that we're doing next year?
Yes.
Yeah, that should have been in your packet from in August. And I will resend that, so you guys know what's all lined up for next year. I did also shoot from the hip, because I think it was Councilmember Canales who wanted to remind everyone, this just gets us through next year. This doesn't address all the other projects. I shot from the hip all the other streets that are not paid for, all the other water and sewer lines that are not paid for. So I'll give you the ones we're doing for next year for sure, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that it does not include the whole, next 6 or 7 years of needs. And we're just gonna have to hit the pause button and see what happens. But right now, we gotta get the Rossman Park neighborhood, especially for those that were able to go out there this Saturday and go down those streets. From what I heard from the residents that showed up, they are very thankful and very doubtful we're gonna pull it off, because they go, we've heard this for years that you guys are gonna fix our neighborhood. And I go, I understand, but we have a plan that, it all works out right now.
Okay. Agenda item 15 is roundtable discussion from council and mayor, and I'll start on this end. Councilperson Westover, anything tonight?
Just a question as to the rental ordinance that was being discussed. Was there a subcommittee formed, and has there been any movement with that?
Timely question. So the answer is no, not officially formed. Councilmember Will Walker and Mayor Pro Tem Hands is volunteered to be on that. Landlord Rachel McKenzie is requested to be on it. Landlord, there were also residents. Landlord and resident Jan Morgan has requested to be on it as well. And then Parker and I reached out to a tenant, Trish Cortez. She said she'd also be on it. So we have 5 people that want to be on this. Email is going out tomorrow morning. We were going to try to squeeze it out this afternoon, but we just had too many things going on to get ready for tonight. There'll be an email going out to that group tomorrow morning to pick some times and dates, have a draft agenda for the first meeting, and really talk about what the objective of the group should be. I think a lot of people are going to be coming in from different angles on what they want to accomplish with it. And I think that group needs to just kind of, go back to square one when it comes to property inspections, rental inspections, and say, how should we move forward with this? But that's where we are with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilperson Walker?
Yes. I have one suggestion or request for our minutes. Last meeting we had, let's see, city managers. When we have updates, there was an update given, I don't know if it was, I think it was Joel. But by city manager or assistant manager, may we, in the minutes, may we have bullet points of those updates? Otherwise, I think the only thing would have been if we took notes. Just
YouTube video.
just something to jog our memory. What's that?
YouTube video.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's how I remember it.
So, Councilmember Walker, this is a good discussion for the city council to have. They've had this discussion several times in my 8 years here. requirements of the Open Meetings Act, and so I'm going to just start with what the base requirements are. The minutes only have to show action. We used to editorialize and try to summarize what individuals were saying, and then we had council members take offense and say, that's not what I meant when I said it. And then the approval of the minutes got to the point where there was a lot of negotiating and approving the minutes on what I really meant was this or that. So a previous council said, just who spoke, period, kind of a thing. We do record them. That's part of a trade-off. So if you want to hear what comes out of, Parker's, what Parker presents on, if you want to hear what I present on and get our words, you can go back and see the YouTube meetings. The minutes are taken by staff here as we take notes, and then we do have a deputy clerk that types them up for us and presents them to council. So if unless the majority of the council wants to go back to the old way, then that's something we can, that's where we are, in my opinion.
And just to follow up on Joel's comment about the recordings of the videos, or of the council meetings, Ryan Berza does a really good job of like earmarking each timestamp in the video. So if you go into the description and you're specifically looking at the section you want to review, the request to approve accounts payable and payroll, he's got it linked right there. So you click on that and it takes you immediately to when that discussion starts. It's just a little easier to find things too. Just as a
Okay,
note.
all right, thank you, Peter.
Yeah. It's very helpful for staff because we use that video to say what was Councilmember Hooker talking about or thinking about or something, and trying to go back to see what she was saying when we get directives.
One other quick thing. Nicole Heslip sent me a notice from, let's see, City of Allegan is thrilled to partner with Lakeshore Habitat for Humanity to provide a variety of home repair relief for qualified applicants through a $400,000 grant available exclusively to homeowners in the city limits. I guess that money is still available?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a grant that the city worked with Lakeshore Habitat last year in securing the funds through the MSHDA My Neighborhood program. So I reached out to Lakeshore Habitat because the city of Allegan qualifies or scores very highly in the MSHDA programs when you look at the quality of our structures. So at the very beginning last year, we sent a flyer to every single owner-occupied home in the city limits. So everyone that owns a home in the city should have received a flyer from the city of Allegan. It is for low to moderate income people. Mohammed, who is in the audience this evening, is our CEDM Fellow, Community Economic Development Association of Michigan Fellow, and he's working with Lakeshore Habitat to bring those homes and those households that need that assistance to them to be able to get the assistance they need. He's, meeting with the homeowners here at City Hall or out at their house. He's being a good liaison between Lakeshore and the homeowners, but it is a Lakeshore Habitat program. They were the nonprofit that applied for the funding.
Mohammed, off the top of your head,
They
how
can come to
many?
the side, the
Yeah, if
podium.
you don't mind coming up to the podium, how many are completed or in the midst of receiving funding through this program?
So the last time they talked to us about that, it was about 8 people so far that completed everything. And then about 10 more kind of in the process. And then another one, when Jackson's with them, they said like they completed, they gave him the form, but they never turned it to them. So we had a suggestion with people that they can bring it to us and we can scan it to them. That's what we've been doing. So far there was 2 individuals that did that because they were not really savvy with technology. So they're a little bit older folks. So I scanned everything to Lakeshore Habitat to make it easier for people because they have to drive here, or the people that have to go to Holland and stuff like that. So we're trying to make it easier for them where I can be the middleman, where I can scan everything to them. If they have a question, they can tell me, I tell it to the residents and things like that. So that's what we've been doing so far. So it's working pretty great. So that's, if you guys know anybody that is interested in this program, they can just come to the city hall. I can give them a file, like the application, fill it out, I'll send it to Lakeshore Habitat, and they'll be like, this person qualified, this person doesn't qualify, and then we can go from there. And they also have other programs as well where they can help those individuals who that doesn't qualify for this program to kind of go a different route, so yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Mohammed. So yeah, there is still some funding available, and we've got until next October is when that deadline is to spend those funds.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mohammed.
Okay. Councilperson Canales? Okay. Councilperson Hooker?
Just one thing. So Councilmember Walker and I will begin, or reinstate the Coffee with Council. Our next date is scheduled for October 24th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Mugshots. So if anybody wants to come talk to us, we will be available on that day. I think that's it.
All right. And Mayor Pro Tem Hans, I did not forget you this time.
I don't have a whole lot. I wanted to thank the police department and their fast response this last week in dealing with the situation with the schools. And for the firehouse brickwork, was it brickwork you said they were having trouble? We did have 2 bidders on the cemetery's brickwork, so maybe they could look at those 2 people to request quotes from, because that was very difficult for us to ever find somebody to do brickwork as well.
That's it. All right. I just wanted to say something about the Hoot and Howl because we won't have council again until after that. So that's the first weekend in October. Friday night seems to be more adult oriented. And then Saturday, lots of family oriented activities. I'm excited that there's a walking ghost tour on Friday night that will be around town. And I as well want to thank the police department for their response to the school situation. That was very, very well done job. And other than that, and then again, staff, sorry for the Rossman Park. The staff that came out, that was great to see everybody working. Melanie and I were there at the same time that morning and got a chance to talk to some of the neighbors in that neighborhood. They were excited. Brandon Gum for arranging. He had games, yard games for people. He had donuts, he had coffee, he had bagels. It was great to see the neighborhood come out. So hopefully that's the start maybe of just some other neighbors getting to know each other. So that was good. But other than that, I will adjourn the meeting at 6:57.